Signs you may be dealing with depression. Hi, everybody. This is Scott Golden with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new here. And signs you may be dealing with depression is what we're going to be talking about today. Please feel free to check out our entire audio library. Over 1,500 audios available for your listening pleasure, variety of topics. And if you're looking for coaching to get through any unbalanced emotions or things that aren't serving you well, ultimately would love to be of assistance to you in that way. Please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either one will get you in touch with me or a member of my team, and we can make something happen from there. So what are some signs you may be dealing with depression? One is a persistent sadness that goes on for several weeks, several months, and doesn't go away. And so sadness is misunderstood. There's situational sadness. In other words, a circumstance arises that makes you uncomfortable. There's a loss of friendship, or you're not getting the attention you would like, or something doesn't go right professionally, personally, emotionally for you, family drama, and all of those things. That can cause situational sadness, but an elongated sadness, that is something that happens and lasts for several weeks, several months, or even several years, is a sign of a much more difficult, you know, emotional instability and or emotional challenge. The next thing is that you have difficulty in changing or modifying any habits that you have that aren't serving you well. So this may mean you get into more addictive situations. This may mean you get into bad relationships or relationships that are toxic for you on a consistent basis. It also could mean that your eating habits, your diet, your exercise habits, your sleep habits, all of these things are not going in a positive direction for an extended period of time. This is because you don't have the energy or the internal commitment to handle those challenges. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person, obviously, if you're dealing with that stuff. But when you don't have the ability to continue to know where you're going and or what's going on in a good direction, you can sometimes be valuable in a way that's kind of moving things forward in a good directive there. The next thing is the ability to concentrate either on what you're trying to do, that is your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, or just concentrate on a conversation or daily tasks becomes extremely more difficult because your mind is fluttering towards the things that aren't going right in your own experience, and thus you kind of lose sense that you have control of your life. Again, a person who doesn't feel they have emotional control is going to find concentration much, much more difficult than they originally intended. This can be problematic for a number of reasons because the maintenance of interests in hobbies, things that used to matter, things that were important at one time and no longer are, maintaining belief that things are going to get better or things are going to change for the better, having interest in things that happen in a continual way for improvement. In other words, one may start the day believing they're going to make positive changes, and by the end of the day, they're too exhausted to do it. And then going through the self hatred or the self rejection of not committing to or completing the things they've committed to complete can cause a lot of problems for an individual who may not necessarily see themselves in the right light as it relates to making those decisions and declarations again, and also finding partnership in following through with them. The next thing is they may have too many rules around the idea of what it is to be successful. So the more loose we are with our definition of success, the easier it is to find success and set small goals in a positive direction. The other side of that, though, is that when we don't feel we're making the right decisions or decisions that are going to lead us in a positive direction, the likelihood that we burn out, the likelihood that we are unhappy, the likelihood that we ultimately are, not in a good space can be super, super difficult and challenging. And so ultimately from a good perspective and or from a perspective of making positive changes, obviously getting multi-layered help, be it through a psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor, coach, or many different individuals through the process of healing is important so that we can begin to make a smart and intelligent approach to the idea of moving forward in a good way as it relates to these focal points and ideas moving forward. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.